I'm Kylie, and I just decided to make this video here and now because otherwise I might not even know if you can see me sitting here in my sink. Why? I think because people my age grew up doing that, like doing your makeup in the sink. I don't know. That's maybe not. Anyways, I was born in 1978, so yeah, from the 1900s, and I just decided that I'm gonna make this YouTube channel for people, to women particularly, to be able to appreciate midlife by incorporating meaning and purpose and ritual into their midlife. And when I say ritual, I'm not sure what comes up for you, but for me, for a long time, ritual kind of made me think like, ooh, not good. Maybe like there's some kind of witch wound there for me. But what I have come to realize over the past few years in the way that I live my life is that ritual is intention, it is meaning, it is on purpose, and it is so important. And so I made this YouTube channel to show you some of the things that I do in midlife to be in that space in between, because where I'm at right now and where many of you are at for a long period of time is in between that phase of like the whole middle phase, the mother phase, right? I like to say that we have 3 different phases, and some people call them maiden, mother, crone. I like to call them maiden, mother, matriarch. You can call it whatever you want, but there are 3 distinct periods that are defined by 2 rites of passage, and those rites of passage are menstruation and menopause. So once we begin to bleed and when we stop bleeding. And society and so many things have factors into this phase of our life, and there's this part in between. And I think this is where a lot of women biologically, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, on all of the levels, feel lost, confused, in between. They feel in between because we're not in that the mother phase. So when I say the mother phase for the rest of this entire channel, what I mean by that is the phase where you're doing, where you're creating in the world. You're a creatrix. You are adding purpose and art, maybe children, maybe not children, work, relationships, all of the things. And it kind of gets up to that point of happily ever after, where maybe you got married and had kids and like lived out that fairy tale thing, and there's nothing to find after, but there is. And so that phase, when we're leaving that phase and moving into this next phase of matriarch or crone or queenager or sage, wise woman, elder, whatever you want to call it, whatever you feel inside of you, whatever you feel called to call it. There's an in-between before that phase where you're like, I don't want to let go of who I am. I don't want to have a decline in my body. I don't want to get older. I want to keep doing, I'm doing good at what I'm doing, and I don't want to change. And it's inevitable. We are going to change. Our hair is going to start to turn Arctic blonde, and we can fight it. That's fine. Either way, you choose to, choose not to, totally up to you. But we can't fight that we are going to get older and that we're moving into another phase. And really, we shouldn't, because there's so much meaning in this next phase, but it's up to us to give it meaning. And so what I want to do with this channel is I want to show you how every day, daily, weekly, monthly, seasonally, yearly, there are things that we can do and should do that can resonate with us on a level that will help us to rewrite the narrative, to describe who it is that we're becoming. And I know that lots of people are probably going to roll their eyes at this next bit because I'm going to give you the butterfly analogy, but there's this piece that I think makes it unique in the way that I'm going to say it that maybe you hadn't thought about, maybe you didn't know, or maybe you just never heard it before like this. So I said we have these 3 phases, and you think caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly, right? But when we're like hitting puberty, there's this sort of in-between phase where you're waiting. You're like, is it happening? But you know when it happens, right? When it comes to menopause, and we start declining, we can't tell we're in menopause till 12 months after not having a period. And for me, the menopause is it's a wrong terminology, and we need to change it, because menopause is just not one day where you haven't had a period for 12 months. Menopause starts in perimenopause, when all of these changes start happening to you. So anyways, I'm going all over the place here, but back to the butterfly thing. There's this phase that we don't talk about where the butterfly emerges from the cocoon, and when it does, its wings are wet and it can't fly. It's the in-between phase. You're not a caterpillar anymore, you're not this mush, you're not in this cocoon, but you're also not able to fly, and you're not a butterfly, and so you're vulnerable, and you have to wait. And so as humans, what we do in this time is so important. And I've realized lately that as much as I've been scared to share with the world what kinds of things I do to try to really step into this space, which is so hard. I mean, it's this some days I love my Arctic blonde hair, and I call it Arctic blonde because I'm Canadian, and when it gets -20 and your hair freezes, this is actually the color that it goes. Can I even show you? I don't know. And some days I like cry in a corner, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone else is not coloring their hair and more beautiful and all of these things. And it's not easy. It is a struggle. And it's a struggle because society hasn't given us a definition. We haven't given us a definition, and that's going to change because Gen X has the internet. We have the internet. So it's the first time that we've been in the limelight of what is social media and able to share these things. And so we're changing it. This is the menopause revolution, and we are changing it. And we deserve to be honored in this phase. Men, women, everyone. Decades of wisdom to just go to waste, to sit off in some sort of corner silently because we're sad that we're not sexy anymore by society's standards, or that we can't have children, or I know that all parts of life are important, and I know that intergenerationally, the generations coming up, they need us to give them wisdom. We need to look at our elders for wisdom. We need to move back to that, in my opinion. And so here I am. Menopause as medicine. Midlife as medicine. Yeah. So, if you like what I have to say, then subscribe and follow me for more. And on days when I'm feeling confident, I'll step up and show you how I'm trying to make it a beautiful, beautiful phase for myself and for you.